Can one small mistake delay your German citizenship by 10 years? Because right now, many people think the process has become easier. And in some ways, it has. Now you can apply for German citizenship faster than before. But at the same time, the system has become much stricter in the way it evaluates you. So, the real question is Germany making citizenship easier or quietly more selective? And more importantly, where do most people go wrong without even realizing it? Recently, I also ran poll on this topic, asking what concerns you most about German citizenship in 2026, and most of you said delays. More than 60% of you are worried about how long the process actually takes, which clearly shows that there is still a lot of confusion about how this system actually works. By the way, if you are new here, I am Shailendra. I have been living in Germany for over 13 years and I share practical tips to help expats live, work, and settle in Germany. So, without further ado, let's break this down properly. First, the structural change. Germany has reduced the general waiting period for citizenship from 8 years to 5 years. At the same time, Germany now allows dual citizenship. On paper, this looks like a clear advantage. But for Indians, the reality is slightly different because India does not allow dual citizenship, which means the moment you receive German citizenship, your Indian citizenship ends automatically. And at the point, you are required to surrender your Indian passport. Then, what most people choose after that is the OCI route. But it's important to understand this clearly. OCI is not dual citizenship. It is a long term residency status, not political membership. So, this is not just process decision, it is a personal trade-off. Now let's come to the part most people underestimate. Under section 35A, Germany has introduced a stricter verification layer. This is a part of the German nationality law. In German, it is called Staatsangehörigkeitsgesetz. If false or incomplete information is provided intentionally, you can be excluded from naturalization process for up to 10 years. Now your first reaction might be, what if I made a small mistake? German law clearly differentiates between a mistake and a intentional deception. But in practice, your application still needs to be clean and consistent. Now, whether something was intentional or not, that becomes a legal question. But from the system's perspective, it creates a doubt, and that alone is enough to slow things down significantly. So, the takeaway is very simple. Don't optimize for convenience, optimize for credibility. Means what? Use certified processes, make your documentation easy to verify, because today your application is not only reviewed but also validated across the system. Residence history, tax data, benefits, immigration records, everything is cross checked. And here is something many people don't think about early on. Where you actually live your life, what German authorities call your Lebensmittelpunkt, means where you work, where your family stays, where you spend most of your time, that matters more than just your registered address. So, even small inconsistencies will not go unnoticed. Not every issue leads to rejection, but once a question is raised, your application moves from approval to justification. Now, let's talk about the patterns that I consistently see. Gaps in residence history, incomplete or unclear declarations, ignoring minor legal records, or submitting information that doesn't fully align with previous filings, and not presenting your application clearly in a way that is easy for the officers to process. These are some of the mistakes that delay applications, because in reality, applications are handled manually, and a clear, well structured file often moves faster than a messy one. And most importantly, rushing the application without reviewing it properly increases the risk of rejection, not from one major issue but from multiple small details that don't align. Another important shift: the earlier 3-year fast track pathway is no longer available. For most applicants today, the realistic expectation is the 5-year route. And this is where many people go wrong. They follow correct advice but not the updated one. Now, what if your application is simply not moving ahead? In many cities, waiting times are not in weeks but often 1 to 3 years, depending on the backlog. Sometimes it may feel that it is done intentionally. There are few practical tips you can do. First, make sure your application is complete and well structured. That's the basic. Second, follow up formally in writing so there is a clear record of follow up. And the third, German law does allow you to take action if authorities do not respond within a reasonable time. This is called an Untätigkeitslage, a legal way to request a decision when authorities don't respond. And in many cases, something like this can be covered under Rechtsschutzversicherung because it falls under administrative law, means Verwaltungsrecht. But this should only be considered once your application is strong, because it can also accelerate a rejection if there are gaps. So, Germany has not made citizenship harder, it has made the process more structured and more consistent. If your application is clear, complete, and internally consistent, the system works in your favor. If there are gaps, the system will slow you down until those gaps are resolved. And that's the real shift in 2026. Not stricter rules, but stricter evaluation. So don't rush this process, prepare it properly, because the biggest risk is not rejection, it's a delay you didn't expect. And most people don't face issues because of one big mistake. They face issues because of small details they didn't take seriously. And I am also curious, where are you right now in your citizenship journey? Are you planning to apply, waiting to complete your years, or already in the process? Let me know in the comments. It will also help me cover real situation in upcoming videos. And subscribe if you want clear practical insights to navigate life in Germany properly. Thanks for watching the video till the end. See you in the next one. Bye bye.